let's move on to betting. Let's talk a little bit about the betting portion of the show. Let's look at some numbers, man. I'm looking at points bet. I'm looking at DraftKings. I wonder if they've changed a little bit. Let me refresh here.
From
All
what
right.
I've seen right off the bat, points bet. I think DraftKings has a few guys at some better odds than
Yeah,
you're
which is
seeing on
weird. Like
points
last
bet.
week, it was opposite. They're
Yeah,
kind of going back and forth here.
yeah. Um, but I'll say, like, if we're going up top, like, guys that are shorter end, I do like Sam Burns on DraftKings. He's at 28 to 1. He's at 25 to 1 on points bet. But I like I
He
like
was
Sam Burns.
Burns was 35 to 1 a few hours ago on DraftKings. So the line is shortening. If you want to grab him, I think you grab him, and he would have been the shortest one I would have looked at for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like him. We talked about Fratelli on the show as far as the DFS pick. I like him at 45 to 1 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I think that's a pretty good
I didn't
number
see
for
that
him.
coming. I don't know that I like Fratelli in the outright market. I talked about him in DFS, but I kind of like him as a. I do like him in DFS, and I know he's expensive. So I think he has top 10 upside, and I know he's won a PJ Tour event, but I don't know. For some reason, I don't feel like he's a winner. Which
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, well, he's won on tour, but
I know he has. I just said that like he's won, but I don't in my mind I don't really picture him as a winner for some reason. So I have a hard time pulling the trigger on him as an outright.
okay. Well, another guy that I will say on points bet has actually a little bit better odds than he does on DK Sportsbook that we have not talked about at all is Rich, or unless you did while I was out for the last 20 or so minutes, is Richie Warrenski. He is 80 to 1 on points bet and 75 to 1 on DraftKings. I think he could
I
be a
don't
good
like that.
play.
I don't like that. I don't
Why
like that.
not? Long off the tee, has shown some good form this
He
year.
just I think it was kind of a flash in the pan, honestly. I don't.
No way. He's not a
Yeah, I
flash
do.
in the pan.
Yeah, I think
You
it
can't
is.
you can't think that way. I'm telling you, you can't think that way. That's that
I
is
can think
not a way that David
whatever way I
Barnett
want to
should
think.
think going for. No, no. You tell me what I should think sometimes. I'm telling you right now, you can't think that Richie Warrenski is a flash in the pan. I'm telling you that right now.
Okay, well, I mean, he finished
Ridiculous.
third, then he missed the cut, then he went 68, then he finished 20th, then he missed the cut again. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's that great,
I think
especially
I
at that
think you're
number, like 150 to one. If you said before this, you said, "Hey, what number is Richie Warrenski at?" I've been like, "Oh, 150 to one."
no way you would have said that.
Yeah, I mean, I
You
would
would have
rather
compared him
have.
to like Bronson Burgoon, who's at 150 to
Okay,
one, and
yeah, okay. Here you go. You're gonna
Bo
name
Hostler.
name those guys, but okay. I would rather have Keith Mitchell at 175 to 1, Tyler McCumber at 175 to 1, JB Holmes at 175 to 1, Patton Kazire at 150 to 1, Nick Taylor at 125 to 1. All those guys that are longer
What
than
has
him, I'd
Patton
rather have every
Kazire
single one of them.
done? He's like playing in member guest right now. He's not playing on
No,
tour.
he's not. He finished 41st last week at the Corrales, which isn't great, but he's a great putter. Great Bermuda guy. Great Bermuda guy. Barinsky's not a Bermuda guy. Is he? Isn't he like a, where's he from? I can't remember. Anyway, that's way too long about Richie Warrenski. All right. I like. Let me see if the lines have moved on this. All right, I love me some Siwoo Kim, and we didn't mention Luke List, but I'll take the outright on List and Siwoo at 55 to 1 on DraftKings. I like both those numbers. Those are your better numbers. List is 50 to 1, and Siwoo's 50 to 1 on points bet. So on DK, I'll take both of those. I like the win equity out of both. Luke just needs a hot putter. If just 1 week he could get a hot putter, which is a lot to ask because his putter is shite. But just 1 week, and he'd win. He would win. He's tee to green. He's amazing. Charlie Hoffman, 70 to 1. I mentioned him in DFS. I like Hoffman 70 to 1 on DraftKings. I like
Didn't you like
Xinju
him last
Zhang.
week?
Huh?
Didn't you like
What?
Hoffman last week?
I did. Yeah, I did. Played
Top
okay.
15.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
I like
Zhang.
Zane too.
Liked him last week. He's 70 to 1 on DraftKings. Nick Taylor, I like him at 125 to 1. Don't forget he's won this tournament before. He won at Pebble Beach. this year. I'm pretty sure that was this year. It feels like forever ago. Maybe it wasn't. Can't remember. But he's 125 to 1 on DraftKings. I said length was not a requirement, or not a prerequisite. Yeah. So he's not a super long hitter, but he knows his way around the Sanderson, and he's played here very, very well. The old Canadian Nick Taylor, 125 to 1 is a nice number. As bad as this guy is on Bermuda, you cannot tell me the win equity is not there with JB Holmes at 175 to 1. 175 to 1. He is he's a POA guy for sure. People hate him because he's slow. Yep, I get it. But he's a bomber. He can get hot. He's a proven PGA Tour winner at 175 to 1 in a garbage field. He's right there with like David Hearn and KH Lee. I just think that is too long for JB Holmes. And are you proud of me that I haven't said Will Gordon's name yet tonight?
I thought you were going to say
Burn
Will
me
Gordon.
so bad. I am so hurt by Will Gordon. I want him to be a thing so bad. There is not another player on the PGA Tour that I want to be a thing like Will Gordon right now. There's just not. I love him. I want him to work, but he has burned me weeks in a row, and I'm done right now. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention Cam Davis. Oh, my God, what are we doing? Is this even a show if we're not mentioning Cam Davis at 66 to 1? See, the fact that his line hasn't moved, but Sam Burns' line has moved is crazy to me. I think you got to bet Cam Davis. That is going to be shorter. Yeah, that's going to be shorter. Another one I want to talk about. You were having internet problems when this happened. I told this story, and I think this is key for people that maybe just watched the Sportsbook segment on YouTube. And I'll make this quick. I talked to 2 Korn Ferry Tour players in the last 10 days. 2 players on the Korn Ferry Tour. And I said, who's better, Will Zalatoris or Davis Riley? Both of them said Davis Riley. This is in the last 10 days. Both of them. Even with all of Will's recent success, the U.S. Open and all that, they both said Davis Riley. Let's just say, worst case scenario, they're wrong, even though they watch these 2 guys play every week, and Will is slightly better than Davis Riley. Davis Riley is 175 to 1. Will Zalatoris is 22 to 1 to win this golf tournament. We talked about this at the top of the show. This is a tournament where typically in a normal year, you have Korn Ferry Tour graduates come out, and this is one of the first events they play, and plenty of them compete and win. Like, the fact that Riley is 175 to 1 and Zalatoris is 22 to 1, and I just talked to 2 of their peers that watch them play and know what it takes to compete at that level, and they both said they would take Davis Riley over Will Zalatoris. I think, Zalatoris has come closer, and that experience may help him close the door on a PGA Tour victory sooner than Davis Riley at some point. But at some point, we're going to see things level out, I think, with these 2. So just in case Riley pops off, I think throwing a little bit of jingle jangle on Mr. Davis Riley is not a bad move. And it is in his home state of Mississippi might be a great idea at 175 to 1.
I don't mind it at all. I like that play.
I mean, you can even, sure, maybe the win equity isn't a thing, but he's 16 to 1 as a top 10. Maybe you look at him at a top 10. Any other bets for you? Outrights?
No, I think that's about it.
I do. Let's see.
I probably will have some in the. We get asked a good bit in the Nut Hut on Wednesday about some of our first round leader bets and some of our some guys that we've come on later in the week. Another reason to join the Nut Hut. Because we come up with some of those, and Swafford was probably one I may have mentioned as first round leader. But anyway, so we get asked a good bit in the Nut Hut about some of those type bets. So I'll probably have some of those on Wednesday night. But right now, that is all I got. And it gives us a little more time to see the line movement and to see these different books and what they're doing and things like that. And because there could be some major differences on some guys, between the books. So you want to be able to look at that and have a chance to pay attention to that.
Yeah, and while I'm looking at it, Davis Riley is 7-1 in the top 20 market on DraftKings. I have two other top 20s that I like. If I'm gonna do a top 20, it's gonna be I can't bet it if it's not a double digit number. I can't do it. So I'll go Sebastian Kaplan at 12-1. Who, if you were paying attention, Seabass played pretty well last week at Corrales, and we know Seabass and his agent. And we had heard a couple months ago probably that he was struggling a little bit mentally. He went home to Denmark to kind of go back to his old coach to kind of reset a little bit. Because when he first came out on tour, he was pretty solid. He contended. He had some good finishes, and then he just kind of like lost it for a minute. So his first event back, he plays pretty well last week. I'm pretty sure. Well, maybe he may have played the safe way. I'm not looking at it, but played well last week. And he's a scorer. He's a long player, long hitter, aggressive player. And can compete in Birdie Fest. 12-1 for a top 20 bet, I think is interesting. And then a name that I mentioned in the DFS portion that I just think is a solid guy all around. He's not really flashy, but he's been on the PGA Tour for freaking forever, and he could pop up with a top 20 in a Birdie Fest, and that's Martin Laird at 10-1. So top 20 market for me, that's it. I think that's all I got, dude.
Okay.
Good stuff. Listen, let's keep the heater going. Check out DB's Big Balls betting card. You got Pat's Fantasy Golf Sommelier article coming. The 10 key stats that you need to know are already up on tourjunkies.com. All the write-ups are free on tourjunkies.com. Check them out. They'll hit on Tuesday and Wednesday. We'd love for you to join us in the Nut Hut. If you're not already a member, it's $10 a month. Super easy. We're not the only people in there that give advice. We've got some really sharp listeners that are very engaged, that are in there all the time. We'll have our live chat on Wednesday night in the Nut Hut, probably around 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Chalk Bomb Ben is back, and the Chalk Bomb email is back this week, so check your inbox for that. Subscribe if you haven't already over on tourjunkies.com, bottom right-hand corner of any page. You can do that. And let's keep the train rolling, man. The Hudson Swafford week has invigorated me for the fall swing. And I am jazzed. I am jazzed in my middle parts right now.
I kind of am too.
Yeah.
I guess.
Good.
It's sort of weird.
Yeah.
Said. But still.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let's head over to do TJ After Dark over on DraftKings YouTube channel. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for supporting the Tour Junkies despite it being football season. We know it's tough. We hear it all the time. Hey guys, love you, but I'll see you in January. It's February. It's football season. Okay, we get it. If that's not you, we appreciate it. You're the diehards that we love, the golf addicts. That's what it's about. Thank you guys. May your screens be green. Have a great week. See you. Oh.